DoctorAche reviews Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Alright, let's get right into it. I decided to review this today because Fantastic Beasts 2 is coming out, and I just thought, why not go where the series started? My short review is as follows. Very good storytelling and world building with the best composer to boot. J.K. Rowling's amazing creation brought to the screen with some of the most perfect casting for a book adaptation in regards to the adults. The child actors got better as the series went on. Emma Watson in particular wasn't so great in this one. The special effects don't hold up so incredibly well, but it was the best they had at the time. I will tell you right now, I am 100% biased. I love the books. And because of that, I am biased towards the story, in favor of the story, but that also means I'm overly harsh and critical on the changes from the book to the film. Without further ado, let us continue. Writing, I'm giving an 8 out of 10. Like I said, the story is amazingly written. I got a lot of great show don't tell throughout this entire movie, and every character has a personality and real motivations, and it just really it just makes sense for the characters. There's so much world building and exposition that doesn't feel forced also, and it's really amazing how well written this story is, the series as a whole, but especially the starting one, the one that started it all. Beginning, I'm giving an 8 out of 10. Harry is dropped off on the Dursley step with a letter, and the conversation between the trio of Hagrid, Dumbledore, and McGonagall tells us a little bit about, but also alludes to what you don't know yet on a first viewing. And we get some really great show don't tell of Harry's home life with the Dursleys. And then, Hagrid breaks down the door and just tells Harry how special he is, and we get a real introduction into the Wizarding world when Hagrid takes him to Diagon Alley. It's just really great storytelling with a lot of natural exposition, and where it is necessary, exposition where it's necessary, and just show don't tell where it's not. Just really excellent beginning. Ending, I'm also giving an 8 out of 10. Harry, Ron, and Hermione have to navigate the stone's protections, and it's really great for them to show us how well they work together and how smart, skilled, and brave they all are. Ron sacrifices himself, and then Harry has to go face off against Quirrell/Voldemort alone. When it's over, we get a small bit of insight supplied by Dumbledore when Harry's in the hospital wing. And then we go to the feast, and the Gryffindors win the House Cup because Dumbledore gives out all these points for even Neville got points. And you just feel so triumphant when they get the House Cup and the amazing score supplied by John Williams. And then just before the credits, Harry gets the scrapbook of his family, courtesy of Hagrid. And it's just, the ending is so super satisfying and just joyous. It just makes you feel happy. Characters, I'm giving 7 out of 10. Now, don't hate me. I love the characters. I do. It's just the only reason I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 is because the child acting is just not so believable. And just some of the characters aren't fully well-rounded yet. It's just really great character and characterization. Very believable for the most part. And from the trio, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, to Hagrid, to Malfoy's trio, to Snape, to the Dursleys, everyone is just unique and has real motivations and opinions and goals, and it's just really great characters. Don't hate me for not giving it like a 9. Performances, I'm giving a 6. The adult performances were amazing. Amazing adult performances. The child actors were mostly good, and at the very least fair, with a few exceptions, most notably Emma Watson. Her performance throughout was a bit dodgy. Tom Felton, the guy who played Draco Malfoy, was probably the best of all the child actors. He did a really great job, especially for his age. Timing, I'm giving a 7 out of 10. The flow of scenes and the sweet sequence of events was very good. I really enjoyed the way they transitioned seasons by having Hedwig fly into the sky. Very creative and entertaining way to show us the passage of time without just saying it flat out. Christmas time seemed a little slow to me, but that's just because they had to, dump a lot of information on us. But overall, it didn't really disrupt the flow that much. Sound, I'm giving a 7. Really great sound design. Everything made perfect sense and fit very well. Score. Oh, I love the score. John Williams, you are a brilliant, brilliant man. In my opinion, it is the best thing to come out of the film adaptation. John Williams is a god with an infinite spring of fantastic, fresh, and perfectly fitting score for every motion picture he ever works on. I cannot praise him enough, and more people really need to give him recognition. He is amazing. Visuals, I'm giving a 6. It was the best they had at the time, but it didn't age so perfectly. Believability is a 9. I almost gave this an 8 because of some of the child acting, but the world building and how natural and believable it all is just too perfect. And the actors, the adult actors and some of the child actors helped to, make up for the couple bad child actors. Relatability, I'm giving an 8. Harry is incredibly easy to relate to and sympathize with. He's shown to have been abused his entire life at the beginning of the story, and by the end he saves the world from Voldemort's return. He won glory for the house and he also made some lifelong friends along the way. We can all relate to Harry because at one time or another, we were Harry. Editing, I'm giving a 6. Quite good editing. The transitions were especially good. Antagonist gets a 7. Quirrell was really good for this particular story. Really good stepping stone, so to speak. Voldemort is the actual antagonist, and he's really great throughout the entire series. They do a great job setting up Voldemort, in general. Snape and Malfoy are also very good antagonists to the gang as well. Twist gets an 8. The twist is that they set up Snape to be the villain, right? But it actually was Quirrell. And if you watch every scene where something bad happens to Harry, it totally makes sense that it's Quirrell. For example, Harry's first Quidditch match, they think Snape is the one jinxing the broom, but really it's Quirrell. When Hermione goes to set fire to Snape's robes, she knocks Quirrell over, and that's what stops Harry from, having a jinxed broom. Really good job on the twist. Did not make me cry, so going over that one. Impact is a 9. The cultural impact alone of this series is astronomical. We got 8 books, if you count The Cursed Child, 8 original movies with 5 more prequel movies on the way. Universal Studios has a huge section of the park for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. There are museums. Hell, the actual King's Cross station in London, England, has a trolley halfway through the wall between platform 9 and 10. It is the best-selling book series of all time, and if I'm not mistaken, it is the only book series ever to... the only book series out there to ever outsell Harry Potter is the Holy Bible, if I'm not mistaken. It's just... the cultural impact and the personal impact on so many people is just astronomical. Production value, I'm giving an 8. Really great production value. The effects I already talked about, they got really great A-list actors and the best special effects they had at the time. John Williams to compose, And I could just go on with this list of all the great things that they did, production value wise. Overall enjoyability, I'm giving an 8. Really, really enjoyable. I personally don't like watching the Harry Potter films just because I just think the books are so much better, and as the series goes on, I think that the movies kind of take a turn for the worse. Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets are really close adaptations, and you know, I like them better. You'll find out how I feel about the other ones when I get to reviewing those. But overall enjoyability, very enjoyable. Rewatchability / recommendability, I'm giving a 9. Recommend reading the books to all of you, but I know most people won't. So at the very least, watch the movies. The series is just amazing. Please watch it. There are several people out there who actually rewatch these movies constantly. They're always doing marathons with it. Huge rewatchability for this movie. Alright, now for the pros and cons. Pros. Score! God, John Williams. I know I keep saying it, but oh man, I love the score. Show don't tell. The snake effects at the very beginning when he sends the snake on Dudley hold up very well. Aunt Petunia's acting is just on point throughout this entire movie. I mean, she's not in the whole movie, but you know what I mean. Really great acting throughout the entire opening letter scene in the beginning of the movie. The sign of the leaky cauldron, you may not have noticed this, I like it though. When Harry and Hagrid are walking up to it, it's completely blacked out, and as soon as they get close enough to it, it reveals itself. So it kind of is suggesting that only wizards can see it, which is really cool. Really great setup in Diagon Alley of the Nimbus 2000, and the score is just, oh, love it. The goblin makeup is outstanding in Gringotts. The atmosphere in Ollivanders is also excellent. Amazing, amazing twin core setup as well. And Voldemort eluding, because Harry doesn't know who he is yet. McGonagall is adapted excellently. Malfoy is the best of all the child actors. Dumbledore's clapping during the sorting is just it just makes me laugh. During Halloween, when Quirrell runs in and just yells "troll" is just hysterical. Thought you ought to know. I just love it. Wood's comforting story about not remembering most of his first Quidditch match because a bludger hit him and he was in the hospital wing is just funny, and it's just so comforting to Harry. Great showing of Passage of Time, I already talked about with Hedwig. I don't know why I can't say that today. Hedwig flying into the sky and then the seasons changing is also very cool. Ron staying behind for Christmas is great, and him telling Harry about Charlie and the dragons seems very natural, you know, early on in the movie. Hagrid playing the Harry Potter theme on his flute is also a pro. Ron's self-sacrifice is very good, and the score is fantastic. The ending and the score. Great. Now for the cons. The opening and a few other scenes are a little too dark. I don't mean dark like morbid. I mean dark like the screen is dark. Like it needs to be lit a little bit better. Quirrell doesn't touch Harry in the Leaky Cauldron, but that doesn't... he should not, be worried about that, because Voldemort only attaches himself to Quirrell after he fails to recover the Sorcerer's Stone that day. So he's not on Quirrell yet, so Quirrell should be able to touch him. And Quirrell doesn't know that Harry will burn him if he touches him, so there's no point in him not shaking Harry's hand like he does in the book. Just, why doesn't he do that? I don't know. Anyway, Emma Watson's performance is not good. That's another con. The broomstick flying animation doesn't really hold up super well anymore. The scene when they go in and first meet Fluffy, why is Fluffy asleep? There's no music playing. It just doesn't make sense. And when Harry gets his Nimbus 2000, he gets it the day of the Quidditch match. What has he been practicing on? What if it was late? I don't understand. Dumbledore also isn't supposed to be at the first Quidditch match. Harry's broom gets jinxed. If Dumbledore was there, Harry would have been perfectly safe. Christmas time is a bit slow. The centaur, when they in the Forbidden Forest, really doesn't look so great either. And why would the door to Fluffy be able to be unlocked by Alohomora, but the key room door later on, where Harry has to fly the broom, can only be opened with a key? Why would the first door to Fluffy be able to be opened with Alohomora, a spell that first years can learn, rather than being magically sealed, I don't know, another way? Especially when they literally show us that can be done in the movie. I don't know. If the keys chase you and try to kill you, like Harry has to fly around and then they shut the door and they all jam into the door, why weren't there any keys jammed in the door after Quirrell went through it? I don't know. Hermione's speech about friendship and bravery after Ron self-sacrifices and Harry tells her to go and take him to the hospital wing is a little stupid. It just feels weird. Also, I get that Hermione wanted to go back and make sure that Ron was alright and, take him to the hospital wing, but was she seriously just going to let Harry fight who they thought was Snape alone without any backup? I don't see why she would do that. And also, Harry tells her to send a letter to Dumbledore telling, after she gets Ron out of there, telling him what happened and that he needs to come and help. Why the hell didn't they send that letter before they went in after for the Sorcerer's Stone? I don't know. Also, why would Quirrell just give Harry this exposition dump for no reason? He just starts telling him his whole evil story, and it just doesn't make sense. Also, why does Voldemort have a nose? He's not supposed to have a nose. On the back of Quirrell's head, he has a nose. I don't know. Also, why would Voldemort ask Harry to join him? It's just not what Voldemort would do. I don't know. Also, why is it when Quirrell grabs Harry around the neck, his hand doesn't burn, but when Harry grabs his hand, it burns, and when Harry touches his face, it burns? Like, it just doesn't make sense. It should immediately start burning the second he touches him. Alright, that's enough with the pros and cons. Final thoughts. I love this series, but as I said, I am biased. I love the books so much more than the movies. The best thing to come out of the adaptation was John Williams' iconic Amazing score. And this series is a staple in our culture and has a huge impact, especially on my personal generation. I'm giving this movie a 7 out of 10. This concludes my review of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. If you'd like to see my other reviews, or my other videos in general, please click the thingies. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have any suggestions for future reviews, let me know those as well. Thank you for watching. Feel free to share this video, and I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!